Did she see you?
Yep.
Okay.
Now, do a little bit. Yeah, right there. Right there.
All right.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today?
Hey, how you doing?
We're good.
Have you ever been to an ice cream parlor or Dairy Queen or Ben and Jerry?
Yes.
And the clerk asks you, how may I help you? You tell the person, I would like a large ice cream cone with nuts and a little caramel on top, but no cherry. The clerk asks, would that be chocolate or vanilla? You look at the person like, did she just speak a foreign language to me? This has to be a no-brainer because who in their right or wrong mind will pick vanilla over chocolate? You think to yourself, how many of you in here like chocolate?
Hola. I do.
How many of you in here love chocolate?
I do.
Well, me, myself, I love chocolate. You think to yourself, how did chocolate get here? Where it come from? Well, that is what I am here for. So let's go explore the world of chocolate. Chocolate originated in Mesoamerica, which is Central region area in Americas, going from Central America to Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and northern Costa Rica, about 4,000 years ago. Chocolate comes from the seed of the cocoa tree. As Americans, when we hear the word chocolate, we think of candy, chocolate bar, or possibly chocolate cake. I know that's what I think of. Believe it or not, that is secondary usage to chocolate. Its primary usage was being used as a beverage. How did it become a beverage, you ask? They will grind the bean with a powder form, adding cold water, corn, until it became a foamy light. And then that's how they used it for beverage. The Aztecs would actually use it as porridge. And porridge, which was added cereal, and it was put chili pepper in it. And the reason the Aztecs used spices of corn is following. Due to the sugar, and I'll tell you on that later. According to fieldmuseum.org, chocolate was used for the royalty and religious events in both Maya and Aztecs. The priests presented cocoa seeds as offerings to the gods, the drink during sacred ceremonies. In 1521, when Spain introduced Europe to the cocoa seed, once they got the seed over to Europe, that's when it was introduced to cinnamon, sugar, and other spices. The import of sugar and the cocoa seeds is quite expensive. In fact, only people with wealth could enjoy the cocoa drink. Once again, the poor people always being left out. Until they make it so unimportant and not enough sugar, then that's when the poor people were able to afford anything. Whereas in France, only members of the royal court were consumers of the drink. Now I would tell you the process of chocolate and honey. There are 10 steps into making chocolate. I will list the 10 steps and explain to you what those steps mean and the details. The steps are cleaning, roasting, crack, winnowing, grinding, mixing, milling, connoissing, temperature, molding, and lastly, it was cooling. Now, what do those steps actually mean? Well, cleaning is where you separate the cocoa, the rocks, the things, because sometimes these will fall on the ground, and so they had to gather from the ground, and then you don't want seeds and rocks in your cocoa. So then the beans from there was in from the ground. Roasting is where they put the cocoa beans in a roasting oven at the temperature of 200 to 290 degrees. Roasting takes from half an hour up to 2 hours. Next, they crack and winnow the beans. That is where the outer shell are cracked away. These are broken pieces of the cocoa beans. These are called nibs. Then the cocoa nibs are grounded and crushed into chocolate liqueur. Nope, this is not liquor as in alcohol. Get that out. The liqueur is the cocoa chocolate bars. Due to the texture, after this is really grimy, so the manufacturers run the mixture through a series of steel rollers to change the texture. Then they crochet it, which is a chocolate making machine. Crocheting can last up to a few hours for cheaper chocolate, and then the most expensive chocolate takes like 6 hours of crocheting. So you can just imagine we mostly are drinking or eating the cheaper chocolate. The temperature is by stirring, cooling, and finally we have chocolate that is molded to different shapes. Now the shapes of the chocolate have been into different types of shapes. You can have Hershey Kisses, chocolate candy bars, chocolate cake. Then you have dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and white chocolate. The story of chocolate.com shows how the percentage of cocoa bean is actually in dark chocolate, white chocolate, and milk chocolate. Dark chocolate has 50 to 70% of cocoa, little to no milk. And then the milk chocolate has a lot more of 10% cocoa, rest is milk, lots of sugar, dry milk solids like powder milk. And then we have white chocolate. You like white chocolate? Yeah, white chocolate is not even chocolate, it's cocoa butter. That and a cocoa bean that is melted at a body temperature. It gets its name white chocolate because of the ivory and creamy appearance, and it has a product of the cocoa bean, which is the cocoa butter. In conclusion, to the world of chocolate, we now know that it came from being originated around ago. They got kidnapped into Europe and got transformed into being the most desired delicacy. So now we know there's 10 steps. That's how the 10 steps became the different types of chocolate. We learned that there's white chocolate, dark chocolate, and that is the conclusion to my speech. And here are the few of those delicacies until we meet again.